UAE Company Tax Tips and of course corporate tips. Hi everyone, this is Kyriakos Tramundanellis, a UAE registered auditor and practicing professional, and today I'm going to dive you into the requirements of the UAE companies. Number one, let's not forget that all UAE companies are required to prepare and submit their tax returns. Number two, they need to keep proper accounting records. It means that proper accounting must take place for all years, for all year ends, and these financial statements, this accounting information needs to be prepared and filed to the relevant authorities. Number three, VAT. VAT applies here in the UAE and you need to be very careful with it. You need to know its application and you need a qualified tax expert like ourselves to advise you as to what is vatable activity, what is not, and the rate of VAT that applies. Related party transactions, salaries, loans to yourselves or to other companies that you guys own. These are captured by anti-tax avoidance rules and of course by transfer pricing rules. So you need to be very careful that all your transactions within the group or with your company yourself are at arm's length. Otherwise, the local FTA will tax you as if it was at arm's length. This means that penalties and fines will take place, and of course, different interest rates if you are lending or different selling prices will take place, and you will end up paying lots of money. So be aware of this point as well. Expenses. You cannot expense everything into your company. Your company, like any European company or like the UK company, is allowed to expense expenses or purchases that are made solely and ultimately for the use of the company. So you cannot put your car into your company, you cannot put your house expenses into the company and believe that these are allowable for tax purposes, and the local tax examiner will not have any issues and will allow you to reduce your profits by putting everything into your company expenses. Again, arm's length, relevance to the company. Are they for company use? These are important tests that you need to make sure you apply before you pass over these invoices or you pay these expenses from your company accounts. Auditors, accountants, and corporate service providers. Here in the UAE, from our experience, unfortunately, very few audit and assurance firms, very few accountants are up to the level, and they are doing proper job. They are doing a proper accounting job. They are booking all the invoices, they are booking all the expenses, they are reconciling the bank, they keep ledgers for suppliers, ledgers for clients, and at the end of the day, they have a fully reconciled trial balance, which then goes for an audit. And you can get into trouble. Don't listen to them, it's okay, there is no tax. Things are relaxed here in the UAE because, as at the time of this video, things are not so relaxed in the UAE. The UAE authorities have started penalizing auditors and companies who are not compliant, and they have taken some audit license as well, because you cannot do an audit simply sign off. An audit is a thorough, detailed work that needs to take place, and it takes weeks, days to be completed. What else? Sole traders. The notion of a sole trader in the UAE exists. So even if you're not using a company and you're conducting a business as a person, you could be subject to corporation tax the same way a company would. And of course, the VAT applies the same. This is because even if you are an individual, if you're doing some business, you will be taxed on the business, irrespective of whether the vehicle is a physical person, yourself, or a legal person, an entity. These are very important tax tips, and you need to make sure that you are comfortable with it, you are aware of them, because you will get into trouble. The FTA, the Federal Tax Authority, is overwhelmed right now. That's why they are not doing investigations, and that's why they are not issuing taxes and penalties. Slowly, they will come up to speed. They will catch up, and they will, of course, find your company. So make sure that your company, all your company's financial statements have been prepared, have been filed, all the tax returns have been prepared and filed. You pay the taxes, and generally you have your okay from a regulated audit and assurance firm or from a regulated audit partner and tax partner like ourselves, that your company is in good standing. Of course, salary remains tax-free, goes without saying. Capital gains remain tax-free, which means that trading of cryptos is tax-free. If you sell a property, it's tax-free. If you buy and sell an expensive vehicle, it's tax-free as it falls under capital gains tax. The local authorities do not have an intention of taxing you there unless, of course, again, if you are overdoing it. So if you're buying and selling houses every now and then, it means that maybe this is your business and you will be taxed. You need the clearance from a tax expert like ourselves to advise you correctly on whether or not these transactions, the sequence of transactions you're doing, will be considered as a trading activity or not. In conclusion, overall, if you are established in the UAE, most likely all that I've said before applies, with the exception of an audit, depending on which free zone you have set up your company. Things here are strict now. There's no way of getting around it. There are tax-free amounts for micro businesses and for small businesses which can operate without paying any corporation tax, so they can avoid paying the 9% corporation tax. The 5% VAT tax might apply depending on the services and the goods where your recipient of these services are. But as an overall rule, the EU now is pushing the UAE to have similar accounting standards, similar audit standards, in order to keep it outside the blacklist. And this means that here in the UAE, things will be done in a corporate manner, in an accounting manner, and in an audit manner, the same way they're done in the UK, in Europe, and in the US. Proper. You need to have proper accountants and auditors, because if you don't, they will get you into trouble. You need to keep proper accounting records, proper audits, proper filings, and everything needs to be aligned, reconciled, and correct, so that you can sleep well at night and don't worry about having to pay heavy penalties. Here in the UAE, and like the UK and other European jurisdictions that we have come across in our professional experience, of course, the penalties and fines are significant. And you don't want to mess with the authorities, because you will waste so much time, money, and of course, business if you are dragged into adventures with the FTA for months. More information about UAE tax, about UAE VAT, about company creation, audits, corporate environment, see the other videos, join our YouTube channel, subscribe, and we will keep you up to date. We are regulated here in the UAE. We have clients in the UAE and everywhere in the world, local businesses and business from abroad who are relocating here, and we of course assist them on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.